Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelly and I have finished my first read of October, which was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. This, as a lot of you I'm sure know, is a story of Ichabod Crane who thinks he's seeing a headless horseman. He is in a small New England area where it already has so many legends and stories around the supernatural, but he gets caught up in it. And a lot of the story is about Ichabod and him seeking after a young lady named Katrina, who is also being courted by someone named Brom. And so you have Ichabod going after her, probably because she's pretty. Katrina seems to be kind of greedy and wanting the attention of the men, but Ichabod is also very greedy, and he is going after her initially because her father lives on a farm and has a lot of food to spare, because he's always trying to go around getting more food from other people. I'm assuming because he's on a teacher's salary and didn't have enough money. It's always been a problem, apparently, that teachers don't get paid well enough. So anyway, at least in America. So anyway, Ichabod gets caught up in this courtship battle with Bram Stoker and Katrina. And Bram Stoker seems to maybe know a little bit more about the supernatural situation going on towards the end. I feel like, we have some greedy people in this story, and I won't tell you any more so that those of you that haven't read can have a good experience. But yes, I do love The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The beautiful language is gorgeous, used by Washington Irving. All right, I will come back and tell you about my next read. I just finished Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and I did it as an audio. Was really good. I really enjoyed it. My book truths and a lie tag, the first one I did, I said that Frankenstein was my favorite classic novel, and that was the lie, because I hadn't read Frankenstein yet, but now I have, and I can add it to the list of favorites. I really enjoyed it. It's sprinkling gently outside right now, so we'll see if that affects the video quality at all, but I loved the theme. I think everyone knows pretty much the basis of the story. At the end, Dr. Frankenstein says, don't pursue ambition. And that really struck me. I was thinking about ambition and how everything we create, anything we create or do creatively, whether we do music or writing or whatever, it is so important that we have an honorable purpose besides just ambition when we do something. We have to have a very honorable reason behind it, or else it could end up bad. This is an extreme example of that, obviously. And the other thing I was thinking of is, Frankenstein's monster gets so mad at his creator for things about himself that other people perceive as bad. And we do that too. We get mad that we may have like some disabilities or things like that wouldn't even be perceived as disabilities, but things that we don't think will give us a leg up or that makes people treat us unkindly. And then we lash out about that. And I think it's another reminder, sounds so trite, just don't judge a book by its cover too, because the monster did have some good qualities, but the treatment and the loneliness and the horror of who he looked like and who he was made people not see the best of him. So that's my 2 cents on Frankenstein. I hope you guys will read it. Bye-bye. Hi friends, I've finished Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail, Honeyman, and oh my goodness, such a good read. I really enjoyed this book. So Eleanor is a very socially awkward person. If you have she really reminded me a lot of the Temperance Brennan character, not from the book series, but the TV series Bones. She's socially awkward. She doesn't understand pop culture references at all. She uses big words, and people will a lot of times think she's kidding when she's being dead serious, and she doesn't understand that. She doesn't have any close friends. She doesn't have any family that she communicates with other than a phone call from her insane mother weekly. And I don't want to go too much into that because it can be a little spoilery, but She's had a very rough past, and she is completely alone in the world. She goes to work, she comes home on the weekends, she picks up a frozen pizza from Tesco on her way home from work and vodka, and that is her routine. She may read a book every now and then or watch a history programming show, and that's her life. And then one day she kind of is walking along with this guy from work that she has just met that works in the IT department. She doesn't really think very much of him, and they see a man fall and have an accident, and they save his life, and this propels her on from there. The other thing that happens is she's never had really a relationship except one that was very horrid in her past, and she decides that she is in love with this random musician, and that has her make some changes to her appearance. But those things kind of propel the story forward, and the themes are trauma, dealing with trauma, depression, and loneliness. And this is a book that will make you laugh. You will feel very awkward because she's very socially awkward, but it will also just rip your heart out. But when you think that your heart cannot take any more, something funny will happen. So I think this is an excellent book. There was a moment that was absolutely shocking when I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a twist. But I would recommend it. There are like sprinkled very not frequently through it. There are some what I call F-bombs if you avoid language. No GDs. I know I always say that because I know some of my viewers want to completely avoid any language, and then some are okay with, like me, okay with some language, but they just want to avoid the Lord's name in vain. So that's the only thing. There's no graphic sex or anything like that. I hope you guys are doing well, and I definitely, 5 stars for Eleanor Oliphant for me. All right, take care. I forgot to say one of the most important things about Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine is that I did it as a buddy read with Bandana Book Mom. I think she enjoyed it too. Go check out her channel. I love interacting with her. She is just so much fun and just a great booktube friend to have. Hello, I finished The Souls of Lost Lake by Jamie Jo Wright, which is a prompt that was choose your own for the Christian Fiction Readathon, which is being sponsored by Paperbacks and Ponytails, and the hashtag they're using for this readathon is Journey Through the Bible. So this was my freebie Pray to the Lord and He Will Help You prompt, and it was a suspense thriller a little bit with a romance element, dual timeline. So we have in the 1930s, we have a young lady who showed up when she was 13 with an axe and didn't remember anything that happened to her family. Everybody thinks she's a crazy girl that's killed someone, and it's continuing to haunt her, and she has a pastor who helps her out. And then in the present, we have a young lady who is dealing with a whole lot. Her family, she feels very isolated from her dad and her brother. Her mom has passed away, and her kind of adopted, like, best friends, who is a guy, mom, is dying of cancer, and she is really freaked out because she thinks that there's this little girl that is lost is somehow connected to her because of some different things that are happening, and that she's connected to the young lady in the past. So I thought this was a really good read. It was excellent. I liked the faith elements in there, that people talked about their faith in a natural way. Sometimes it's done in a very kind of beats you over the head, but it was done in a very natural way, how people would really be talking about their faith. So I really enjoyed that. There were some twists that were really good, and one thing that I did not like was there was one scene, and this is slightly spoilery, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think it's going to really ruin anything for anyone, where the young lady from 1930 is feeling like the dead are calling her, and she kind of goes towards that feeling, which is not theologically sound principle. So trying to keep with like Christian theology in a book, that was one element that I did not like, but that was the only thing. I recommend it. It's a good mystery suspense. All right, thanks. I'll see y'all later. I'm hiding. It's cold outside, and that's where I hide a lot of the time, but so now I'm in the bathroom hiding, and I promise I'm fully dressed and there's no water, but I'm hiding in the bathtub because the acoustics are really good right here. So sorry guys. The two books I'm talking about today, first one is The Scorpio Races by Maggie I think you say her name, Stiefvater, and she is an amazing writer. The character development is amazing. The story has a great plot too. It's about this community that lives on the island, and once a year in the fall, the horses that are water horses that are very deadly come out of the water, and they try to tame some of them and have races. There's one particular family that has been affected because both of their parents at the same time have been killed by water horses. They are in a very dire financial situation where they could lose their house. There's one brother that's getting ready to leave because he just almost can't take it anymore. There's a sister who's trying to pull everybody together, and there's a younger brother who has been having some mental health, anxiety, and some OCD issues. So she's trying to pull everything together for them and win the horse race that is happening so that she can help their family. Also, we have a situation where there's a young man who works for the big bad guy who's actually trying to take the house away from the other people in town, that owns a lot of the horses and the land and is just a big guy. And this is a very measured young man. He also lost a father to the water horses, and he usually wins the races. He has a very special relationship with one of the water horses. You can never trust these water horses. They are deadly. So I love how Maggie weaves the story together. I loved the beginning, the middle, and the end. I mean, it was just so well done. And there is a slow burn romance. I love slow burn romances and fantasy stories. So it is not a high fantasy. The only fantasy element is that, you know, there's horses that real like horses that live in the water that are deadly beasts. So if you're not really into fantasy, you might really be able to handle this one. I am definitely going to try out more from this author. And it was a read along hosted by Courtney Reeds. If you do not know her, you should. She is such a great, she's got good taste. That's all I can say about her. I'm saying that because we like a lot of the same stuff, but anyway, go check out Courtney Reeds. The other book I just recently finished was A Voice in the Wind, which is by Francine Rivers. This is a part of the Christian Fiction Readathon, #Journey Through the Bible, hosted by Katie at Paperbacks and Ponytails. Again, go check her out. And this was the buddy read. Very long book, very good book. Lots of good faith elements in here. We have Hadassah is one of the main points of view. She is a Christian Jewish young lady. This is past the time of the crucifixion. Rome is taken over. All those Jews, taking them a lot of times to Rome as slaves. Jerusalem decimated. And there is also a Germanian slave that we're following who has been taken to the arena to fight to the death. And he is trying to kill others to get out of slavery, but his only choice is to kill or be killed. We follow Hadassah as she's trying to survive as a Christian and slave. She has a family who really does care about her. They have their issues, though, serious issues. I felt like the middle of the book dragged a little bit, and I felt like some of the characters were a little one note, meaning that I didn't feel like they had enough of an ups and downs in their characters. Yes, the storyline had them going through ups and downs, but their emotional development I felt was a little one note. Let me know what you think if you've read the book, if you agree or disagree with me, but it's definitely ended well. Beginning and end were well. I just felt like that second act was just a little draggy, but go check it out. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Forgot to say that ends my mid-October reads. You'll see another video from me where I tell you how I liked the books I read from the middle to the end of October. Hope you read a lot. Bye-bye.